Venezuela has the largest oil reserves in the world, yes, bigger than Saudi Arabia. And it was the United States that helped build the infrastructure for the oil industry in that country in the early 1900s after it was discovered. And not all oil is created equally. The oil in Venezuela is very dirty, it's dense, it's sour, it's much harder to refine compared to places like Saudi Arabia.
So if you're here for the first time, this is my new channel, hit the subscribe button. I'm going to be covering the story on Venezuela and everything that's happening over there. So I had to pretty much, show you guys this video because there's a lot of chatter going on about, the reason why America went down there in Venezuela. And, the number one reason people are saying is because of the oil. So I wanted to bring her on. As you can tell, she actually did her research pretty thoroughly, and I wanted to bring her on the channel so you guys can have a better understanding on what's going on between the United States and Venezuela concerning the oil.
In the 1970s, Venezuela was producing millions of barrels of oil per day. Much of it was going to U.S. refineries, and they became the richest Latin American country for years. So how did their very healthy economy collapse? Let's start here. 1998, Hugo Chavez becomes president, and he's spending money like water. Free housing, free healthcare, free education, and that money is coming from the oil exports.
Y'all heard that? Free this, free that, free that. Does that sound familiar to y'all? Doesn't that sound familiar? There's a guy that they just elected up in New York City called Mamdani. You know him? Free this, free that, socialism. Well, when people from other countries tell you that, socialism does not work, trust me, it doesn't work. It does not work, y'all. But let's keep watching.
But he doesn't spend any money on the oil facilities to keep them up, and they began to slowly deteriorate.
Pretty much he was getting money from the oil facilities, but really wasn't upkeeping it. He wasn't really investing back into the business. That's why it's important for you to invest back in your business. The thing that's the cash cow, you gotta invest back in it.
So then, in the 2000s, Hugo Chavez basically forces international oil companies to renegotiate their contracts. And some of them were so angry, they leave the country and they take Venezuela to international court and win. Venezuela was ordered to pay Exxon and ConocoPhillips $11 billion. Much of it has still not been paid to this day. So because of mismanagement, their oil infrastructure is pretty much collapsing and deteriorating, and the country can only produce a small fraction of what it used to, and much of that is being handled by China. Then in 2013, Hugo Chavez, he has cancer and he handpicks Nicolas Maduro to become president, and the economy starts collapsing fast in 2014. Everything spiraled out of control. Inflation was through the roof. Their dollar was worthless. People couldn't afford soap, food, medicine. The situation became so dire, there was a food and medicine shortage. Hyperinflation plagued the country, and in the years of 2015 to 2016, the average that a Venezuelan lost in weight was 19 pounds. Keep in mind, this is all before the sanctions by the United States in 2019. So that happens, but Maduro actually denied aid from the United States. He directed his military to not accept aid from the United States.
Let me tell you, there's always a backstory to a lot of things that happen. The thing is, we just need to do, our proper due diligence when it comes to researching and try to figure out exactly where a lot of this is stemming from. And that's the reason why personally, I will dig up these type of, information so we can get the proper information we need to make the best decisions as to how we're thinking based on the situation. She did her research, as you could see, if you were, paying attention. She was looking down, at her notes, and I appreciate that because for me, I like good information. I don't like saturated information where everybody's talking about different things or commenting or saying what they know and, throwing their, personal philosophies and ideologies all over the internet, because, they could just open up their phones and say whatever and really don't know exactly, the root of what causes everything to happen the way it is. And in this situation, I really appreciate her even taking her time to do her due diligence and giving people the right information. This is something I didn't know, and I'm sure that this is something a lot of you did not know. So if you appreciate, what we're posting here, hit the subscribe button. Like I said, this is my new channel. It's called 10 Minutes Late, but you know what? We're here. All right, so let's keep watching.
That's why the majority of Venezuelans are happy that Maduro and his government have been overthrown.
Bad money management, as usual.
Now, there are a lot of questions about the future of the country, and President Donald Trump has said that the U.S. will run the country before a transition and will spend billions of dollars to fix their oil infrastructure. He says this is so Venezuela can start making money and Venezuela can end up paying the United States back. The way the Trump administration is putting it is basically saying everybody wins, because Venezuela cannot afford to fix its oil infrastructure. And without the infrastructure there, that oil cannot be tapped and used. So the United States is basically saying, we're going to come in because we want your oil. We want to fix the infrastructure. You're going to pay us back the money that you owe us, plus the money that we're going to use to fix all this. And eventually, you can start making money and become prosperous once again and have a new government.
Yo, this is so good. And let me just add, one thing about Donald Trump is that he knows how to do business. I don't care what some people want to say, and, they have all the negative stuff to say about Donald Trump. The man is a businessman. The man knows how to do business. And when you see Donald Trump, bringing all these presidents into the White House and saying, look, we got to squash all those wars that y'all got going. Like there was this there are two like Arabian countries or so forth. They were at war for over 30 years, y'all. And these two presidents of these two countries, they were in the White House, shaking hands, smiling, thanking Donald Trump, and even saying that nobody could have done it but Donald Trump to bring peace to those two countries. And I'm going to tell you the reason why Donald Trump is all about peace and all the countries coming together. He wants everybody to come together and trade together. When countries trade together, countries win. The people win. The economy wins. So what he's doing right now in Venezuela is to bring a level of stability in that country so we can all win. So here's what will happen. Donald Trump, the United States, go in there, stabilize the country. This is going to be an opportunity for other countries now to invest in Venezuela. The economy gets better there. They bring more stability to the dollars and also the oil. They clean up the oil. They make the oil more accessible again for all the investors. And what will happen is, at the end of the day, it's the people that's going to win the most, because you're talking about a better economy. And here's something you got to think about. If you have the resources, now is going to be the time to invest in Venezuela, because I'm telling you, when economies get better, guess what happens? Tourism gets better. And if you can invest in Venezuela right now, invest in Venezuela. There's a lot of progress that's going to be happening in that country. And I'm telling you, now is the time for you to start thinking about having some long-term investments in that country. Hey, if you're here for the first time, I just want to welcome you to 10 Minutes Late. This is my new podcast here. I know I don't have much followers, or maybe no followers right now, but I would appreciate if you show me back some love. All right, we're going to have a lot of fun on here, and I just can't wait for y'all to grow with me. All right, so see you in the next video as usual. God bless. Peace.